We need to talk about Ruben Amorim because Sky have shown some shocking statistics. And what's even madder is Ineos called Ruben Amorim in for an emergency meeting today, asking for him to change certain things. And apparently Amorim was left speechless by that demand. I mean, you have to change something, Amorim. You cannot blame it on all your players, because while the players need to do better, you're shockingly bad. Graham Potter was appointed on January 9th. From January 9th onwards, West Ham have picked up more points than Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. Let that sink in. And Graham Potter's been sacked. Ineos' bosses call Amorim in for a meeting. Amorim just cannot believe what's been said. Amorim is just shocked. Amorim does not have long. Glasner open to the United job. Southgate, no to Southgate. United are looking at Southgate. We'll talk about some leaks. We'll talk about maybe the tech and the goalkeeping situation. But yes, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show where we're just really talking about the manager situation, everything ongoing. But I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into 10 minutes for you guys, so you're completely up to date. And wow, we've got a lot to talk about. But before I get into the juicy news story on Amorim, the bosses calling him in, what the bosses have said to Amorim not being happy about it, I want to talk about Ruben Amorim because I've been labelled toxic by people for saying I think we need to change manager. Apparently I'm toxic. Apparently I'm not a fan. So Alex Ferguson got time because he showed why he should be given time. Other managers have got time because they've shown why they should be given time. Ruben Amorim has not shown why he should be given time, and the stats back this up. I hate this cycle of sacking managers. I want Ruben Amorim to succeed. I want Ruben Amorim to prove me wrong. But what does he do to deserve time? Like, he's literally getting half the amount of points as Van Howard at this stage. All of the managers above him got sacked. All of them. Ollie and Moyes labelled all kind of names. Ragnick did a better job. You know, right now, I don't think you as a fan base have realised how bad the standards have fallen. Right now, we're calling 8th place a good season. If we finish 8th this season, we're happy because it's progress. If we'd have finished 8th under any of these managers, it would have been the biggest disgrace in Manchester United modern history at the time. It would have been, when we finished 8th under Ten Hag was the worst. He was the biggest disgrace ever. Ruben Amorim took us from 8th to 15th. Let that sink in. And we're still 6 games into the season, the same Manchester United with a whole new attack. We're 2-0 down, we'll take Euro off and put on Maguire. And I'll still keep the same system that has us 2-0 down, that isn't working. We'll get completely outplayed. Instead of changing the tactics, the formation, the system, we'll swap Maguire and Euro, and let's hope that we just play better all of a sudden. Well, obviously you're not. We'll play Mason Mount at left wing back instead of Dorgu and hope we can get back into the Brentford game. No, go to a back four, put Luke Shaw left back, maybe put Mason Mount in midfield. Maybe try something different against Brentford. You can't expect to win a game that you're playing crap in by changing one player for another player and not changing anything else. But Ruben Amorim's made it clear, I'm not changing anything else. The fact that Ruben Amorim has made it clear he will not change anything else, you might as well sack him. And I agree with Liaz here. Firing another manager is ignoring 13 years of failure and continuing the cycle, is what everyone keeps saying. But there are levels to failure, and Ruben Amorim is incomparable to his predecessors, and it's facts. He needs to go. And it looks like he could be going. Now, for context, this next report that I'm going to get into has come from IndyCala. Now, IndyCala, I've never really given them the time of day, but in the middle of the summer, they dropped a story about Carlos Baleba that ended up being true, that ended up being backed by Ornstein, and they've given themselves some credibility. There's 5 people that work at IndyCala. Some of it's very accurate, some of it is not very accurate, so we have to take with a pinch of salt. But there was rumours of a meeting going on between Amorim and the board today, so there could be some truth in this. So, IndyCala dropped the exclusive that according to sources at Manchester United, Ruben Amorim was called in by bosses for an urgent meeting. The manager has been asked to change the formation to a 4-3-3, and Amorim was left speechless by this demand with the formation request. Amorim will walk. I generally believe that if they actually asked Amorim to play a 4-3-3, he probably threatened to walk. So I don't know if I believe that. But certain Man United officials believe the manager is to get sacked now, when and if, and not if at this stage. If we play a 4-3-3 next game, that would be crazy. But certain Manchester United officials believe the manager is to be sacked now. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And Ruben Amorim is left speechless by this demand. And Ruben Amorim cannot believe that he's been asked to change formation. Ruben Amorim's not going to be happy with that. I mean, Ruben Amorim, who's been backed by Ineos more than he should have been, really. I think because of Ineos' ego, they've backed him because they don't want to admit they've got it wrong. Is now being called into emergency meetings like, this isn't good. Like, you need to change formation. And that's the one thing Amorim said he won't do. So if Amorim does do it, we know that this is true. And if this is true, we know that this is your last hope. You play a 4-3-3, and if that doesn't work, you are gone. Like, that's mad. Mad. Continue on. Now, Romano says this. United want to see results, and that is starting from the next game. Ruben Amorim's job is not completely safe. The club are respecting him and waiting for improvement. Romano basically said very similar things about Ten Hag just before the West Ham game. We lost the West Ham game, and Ten Hag got sacked. So it's not really a case of, for me, if we lose to Sunderland, he's sacked. And there's Glasner that wants the job, apparently. There's Xavi that wants the job. I just look at it and I read this as he doesn't beat Sunderland, he's sacked. His job is not completely safe. And that's been said by Romano. It's not completely safe. You know, Ineos keep putting out briefs that this job is safe, but they did the same with Ten Hag and sacked him within a week. We don't beat Sunderland, or we don't put in a good performance versus Sunderland, he is sacked. He is sacked, he's gone. Because you know what? We put in a good performance versus West Ham, and we lost because Delo couldn't score an open goal, and the most BS penalty was given against De Ligt on, I think, Danny Ings. When Ten Hag got sacked, we were robbed by the ref. We played incredibly well. We deserved to win that game versus West Ham. I think it's a case of, even if we played well and lost to Sunderland, I think he's gone. A loss is a loss, and that's to Brentford, to Grimsby. The Grimsby was the nail in the coffin, I felt like. Continuing on into other stories, according to Ben Jacobs, who has proven this summer he's a good source of information, if Oliver Glasner was offered the Man United job, he'd take it in a heartbeat. Now, this story seriously surprised me, guys, because I think what Oliver Glasner's doing at Crystal Palace is amazing, and I can't literally get my head around why you'd leave what you've done at Crystal Palace for Man United. I guess maybe he feels like he's reached his ceiling with Crystal Palace, winning the FA Cup, getting them back into Europe, but they're on this incredible run at the moment. And I look at Glasner and I think, why would you leave Palace for Man United? Why? We're Man United. I guess that's why. You know, everyone wants to come to us for Man United, but we're Man United. Like, I know that, but like, I just think what he's doing at Palace is amazing. That's I get why you'd leave Palace for Man United. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Man United fan, but I just think what he's doing at Palace is a good job to leave that right now. But apparently he'd take the Man United job in a heartbeat. And look, Glasner plays a 3 at the back. I don't like a 3 at the back. I want a 4 at the back manager, to be honest. But Glasner's 3 at the back is a lot better than Ruben Amorim's 3 at the back, because he actually uses his midfield and actually uses this and actually uses that. So I'd be more open to Glasner coming in. Iriola, Glasner, Xavi. You know, I'm definitely open to it. I'm not open to Southgate, but I actually think he's an improvement on Amorim. Sources have denied speculation that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has already met Gareth Southgate. United are currently not looking at replacements for Amorim. Well, good that we're not meeting up with Southgate. United are not currently looking for replacements for Amorim. If United were looking for replacements for Amorim, they wouldn't be telling the media that. We knew that they were looking for replacements for Ten Hag, but they kept telling the media they weren't. Then they sacked Ten Hag, and it was very obvious that we'd spent weeks looking at Ten Hag's replacements. The same is going on with Ruben Amorim. The same is, they're not going to tell the media they're looking at replacements. They want to make sure no one knows they're looking at replacements. But Ineos are looking at replacements. Why wouldn't they be? Even if they don't plan to sack Ruben Amorim in the next month and want to give him more games, they know if he loses the next 4 out of his 5 games, they're going to have to pull the trigger. So they're going to have some names and some conversations lined up. They would have discussed managers. They don't want to pull the trigger. They don't want to sack Amorim. But Ineos will have discussed options 100% internally. Samuel Luckhurst reported that Man United players are astonished by how quickly they've spiralled this season, and dressing room sources admit the squad is dispirited after the defeat to Brentford on Saturday. The squad is described as an all-time low. And one thing that wound me up is you've got Lemens in and you're still starting Bayindir. It's not like Bayindir is a good keeper and, you know, he deserves to start. Bayindir is shocking. Bayindir is not much better than Nana, but Bayindir is starting over Lemens. And do you know what's mad? Our best keeper's on loan. Vitek with another phenomenal performance for Bristol City. Vitek has been phenomenal for Bristol City. I'm at the point right now where send Bayindir out on loan and give me Vitek in goal. He's our best goalkeeper, and I've watched him play twice and a pre-season game 3 times. Best goalkeeper by a long way. I'm honestly not being reactionary when I say that. Anyway, people, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy today's video. Feel free to hit the likes on the way out. That is your 10-minute roundup. Let me know down below if you think Ruben Amorim should be sacked, and if you back him, why? Like, I just don't get it. Romana said his job is not completely safe, and I think he's very close to the sack. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.